Welcome to Ville's Sewing Studio. Today we're going to be looking at how we cut the 6 gore, basic 6 gore skirt. You've cut your rectangle first, quarter of the hip plus 20 centimeters. Then we're going to use the dart position to get the waist, and you can measure on your thigh the width you want at the hemline. So you use your dart, and you get your fold, so it's a dart here, and the width you want at the hemline. And then we're going to cut the center gore. So that's the center gore. Then we're going to take the middle, which is a center gore, the middle piece, and we're going to turn it in the opposite direction. Overlap it 1.5 centimeters. That's going to be your seam allowance. I'll do that again for you. This is your rectangle. That's your rectangle, which is quarter of your hip plus 20 centimeters. Then you are going to use your dart position here, which is 10 for those 10 centimeters over 76, 9 below. But because we're cutting, we go 11. So you go across 11, and then you widen the hemline as wide as you want. You can measure on the person's body. You take the piece up after you cut it and put it upside down. So where was at the top is now at the bottom. And the seam allowance is what we add to it. So we add the seam allowance, which is 1.5. So this is 1.5, and I'm putting it at the 1.5. 1.5 centimeters. Remember, I measured in centimeters, but you can use it inches, 1/2 inch. All right, so we have that. Now this section up here is going to be your waist. So we measure quarter of your waist plus your dart. And we're going to use 2 centimeters. Notice what I'm doing. I'm straightening the waist first, okay? Now I mentioned dart a while ago, but on the gore we have already, because of the angle, we don't use any dart in there. So it's quarter of your waist you're going to use plus this side seam allowance. Now when we're doing the 6 gore like this seam allowance and the zip allowance are both at the side alone, okay? So we have to cut 4 centimeters here at the side. That takes in the zip allowance and your side seam allowance, okay? Now you would measure your hip. Remember, we go down 20 centimeters or 18 centimeters down from the waist to get your hip. So we do the hip, and then from the hip we go down to the length skirt. Now what I tend to do, the size of the center gore, I tend to use at the side of the skirt, okay? That doesn't have to be, but I like that. All right, so we're going to cut out the waist. Once you're on a gore, we go down at the waist, you see? And we do the same thing at the hem, remember? We straighten at it, we go up 1.5 at the side. Okay, so the side go up. So, so this is 6 gores. Okay, so it's put together like this. So the same thing will be done for the front as well. So whatever is done for the back, you just use that to cut your front. This comes over here. this is your seam allowance where you would stitch. And there you have your 6 gores. Now what we normally do, remember now I cut 4 on the other side. The side way, if you're going to put pocket, then you have to bring it back down to your 1.5 centimeters on that side. But you have to keep this side for your zip allowance. Alright, so that's 6 gores. Remember, once you cut the back, you just use it to cut the front. Keep your fabric folded and use it to cut the front. And then this one is going to be the 4 gores. Okay, so we fold the rectangle again, 1/4 of your hip, and to that we are going to put 10 centimeters. That can vary. All right, so what we are doing here now, I'm folding off 5 centimeters at the waist, and then I'll keep the 4 centimeters of the hem. Okay, then you'll have to make sure now this is 4 all the way. So you take this off. Okay, so this is going to be the center back, and it will be the center front as well, because the same thing will be done on both back and front. Cut like that. We're going to straighten here. Whenever you fold, you have to make sure you make the length a little bit longer, you see, because we have to straighten the line. So here now we're going to measure from the fold, that's here, 1/4 of the waist, plus the dart, because we're going to put the dart there, plus the side seam allowance. Then you come down and you measure 1/4 of your hip, plus the side seam. Remember, this hip allowance is 18 or 20 centimeters down from the waist. And then you shape your side down gradually. Again, we have to straighten the hemline. And we go up the same 1.5 at the side. Once you're doing any of the gores or the flares, we go up at the side. It gives a better fit. Alright, so we're going to cut now. Up to there. You cut down at the waist 1 centimeter and get a curve up to the side. And you cut the side down. Now the same thing would be done for the back as well as the front. So once you cut these 2 pieces, you will use these 2 pieces to cut the other 2 pieces for the front. So we stitch here. That's your fitting line. And remember now you would have put your dart in this one. For the 6 gore there is no dart, but this one you would mark your dart and put your dart in. And there you have it. So when you do the 4 gore, the hemline comes out wider than your straight skirt. Okay? Thanks for watching. Happy sewing. Remember to give me a thumbs up on my page, Vel's Sewing Studio.